right, welcome everybody to the quarterfinals for the men. The number 2 quarterfinal for the men, because yesterday we had half of them. And, tomorrow we have the other half of them. But, let's see what happens with this one, because this is a bit of a randomish kind of... Sorry, we had what was right the first time. We have a bit of a randomish matchup here. Probably out of all the matches, this is maybe the most random, considering that Ruud was injured. And Blockx is brand new to this stage of an event. So Blockx versus Ruud. We have Kaboli taking on Zverev a little bit later as well. The winners are playing each other. We've also got Sinner versus Fils already locked in to the semi-finals on Friday. But how are we doing, chat? What's going on? Are we ready for another big day? Another long day. A long day. We got a lot going on today. Also, Dash is playing right now, so that's fun. In Challenger, a lot of players are playing Challengers this week, which is cool. I guess Lahetra is an LL. What do you mean? What, I don't know. What do you mean, like lucky loser? Did I get some sleep? I did. And then I woke up at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. And the day disappeared. What time do you sleep when matches are at 3 a.m.? I sleep when I can. Oh, whoops, my bad. I thought I changed that already. My bad. There we go. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Let's see if Ruud can defend this title, because he is the defending champion. He is trying to defend this title, and he's done well. I think we didn't know whether or not he would be healthy and fit to play, because he was having so many... He had an injury worry going into from Monte Carlo into Barcelona. He pulled out of Barcelona, so yeah. But he looks fresh, looks fine. Doesn't look bothered at all. He had a tough match against Tsitsipas. The way these guys got here, so Ruud beat... he's the number 12 seed, so he got a bye in the first round. He took out Munar very easily. Fokina very easily. And then he took out Tsitsipas in that epic match point saving match. And then Blockx, he's come in unseeded. He took out Garin in the first round in 3 sets. Nakashima in the second round in 3 sets, both from a set down. FAA in straights, and then Cerundolo in straights. So the last 2 matches, the first sets have been tie breaks, but he won them, and then he's gone on to win. So, yeah, big wins against FAA and Cerundolo. Blockx is a 21-year-old from Belgium, currently at a career-high ranking, and obviously a first Masters 1000. He was... Masters 1000 quarterfinal. He was the junior number 1 back in 2023. So very capable. Also was the junior boys Australian Open champion with Fonseca. Not champion. Finalist with Fonseca. Losing to Tien in the final. He beat Tien though in the junior men's final in 2023 of the Australian Open. So him and Tien both making the doubles and singles final. And splitting them between them. 11-9 final set tiebreak for that Australian Open boys final in 23 as well. And then the last year, he made 3 finals of challengers, and he won 2 of them. And then this year, he's already made 2 challenger finals, and he's already won 1. He beat Hodar in the final of Canberra, and ended up losing to Van Asch in the final of a tournament in France. What? I don't know why. Why is it called the play-in challenger? Is that got anything to do with playing, like getting a wild card for something? Is that what the play-in challenger is? What is this play-in challenger that I'm reading? Feels like something that should be... Is it anything significant, or is it just that's just the name of it? Is it a play-in like a brand or something? Because I think play-in sounds like you're playing to qualify for something, like or get a wild card for somewhere. Is it related to the French Open? Do you get like a wild card for the French if you win it? Kaboli played the match of his life against Zverev. I'm really not sure if he can do it again. Yeah, well, it's gonna be fun. A great rematch. Okay, so play-in looks like it's just the sponsor. It doesn't seem to be any you don't get any wild cards or anything. I wish they did that more though. I wish they, you know what, we talk about wild cards a lot. I do wish they like they use the challenges as like a way to get. And I know the ATP and the Grand Slams are different, but it would be kind of cool if there's like challenger events going on, and if you win one of those, you get a wild card to the French. Like that'd be really fun if there was a couple of those around, even just one. Like if there was one challenger event before the French Open, and it's like a wild card challenger, you know, that'd be fun. And then if you win that, you get a wild card to the French. That'd be why are we not doing that? It's because the ATP and WTA are not with the Grand Slams. They don't have all those. They don't have that connection. But if they did, that'd be so sick. Anyways, feel like Zverev revenge will get revenge. Well, he'll come on later, so we'll watch that for sure. Kaboli played so well against Zverev the other day. It's been really, really fun to watch them play again. Cerundolo or Rinaldi, are they playing? Where are they playing? All right, players better walk in on court. So many good players may need a wild card to RG. Stan, Monfils, Dimitrov, etc. It's crazy, yeah. Well, Stan and Monfils will get one. I'm pretty sure there's like rumblings that like they're gonna get them because final season, right? All that stuff. So they're gonna get theirs. Obviously, Monf will 100% get his. But yeah, Dimitrov might have to play qualies or have a really good tournament in Rome to get qualified or to get. Actually, doesn't matter because the entry list came out. So anyone who's not on the entry list is going to have to fight. Berrettini, I think, was he on the entry list? I made the entry list. Why am I not just referring to my own stuff? Entry list. So the cutoff was 104 Hijikata. So Berrettini made the cut. Berrettini did make the cut. Hurkacz made the cut. Yeah, so Dimitrov not on the list. He missed the cut just, I think. Yeah. Tsitsipas made the cut. So Dimmy's going to have to probably play qualies or get a wild card. My thinking is that he's probably going to have to play qualies because you got to also remember that these the Grand Slams want to have high profile qualifiers so that people go and watch the qualies, right? So they might not give Dimitrov a wild card, not to make him play qualies, but to promote the qualifier. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, I know that we all like to think wild cards are given out to feel good stories and all that stuff, but they are given out, because the tournament want to promote, want to promote players or whatever, but also they might not be given out so that they go. And by the way, remember the French Open didn't give Dominic Thiem a wild card. So the fact that they didn't give a two-time finalist who on his retirement season a wild card, they're probably not going to give Dimitrov a wild card. If they're not giving him out to former finalists who have done a hell of a job, and they made him play qualies in his final season, right? And he announced it, that he was his final French Open, and he went out in the quad. Remember that? So I don't think Dimitrov will get one unless they have one for grabs, I guess. But they might make him play qualies just to promote the qualies. He'll be the face of the qualifying, I was so mad when Domi didn't get one that year. Yeah. So I mean, like, that's just going off previous things. That's usually it. Also with the wild cards for the Grand Slams, it's a little bit different. They go about it a little bit differently. They obviously have a bunch of wild cards for French players, and then there's a rule between Australia and the US and the French Open where one wild card is given to an Australian, and vice versa for the Australian Open for the French, and through the US as well. So Nava got one last year, Schoolcake got one last year from Australia and the US, and then everybody else got one they were French, and then Stan got one as well. So he was the only non-French wild card last year, but then again, they love him like he is French. So, and then the year before that, it was all French except for two, which were the two wild cards that went to Australia and US. So, yeah. And then if you go look at Wimbledon, they never give wild cards out to anyone else but British people because they don't have that rule. They're not connected to the others like that. So giving a Bulgarian a wild card is very out of pocket. And and again, if they're not giving Dominic Thiem wild cards, then shit. What hope does anyone else have? You have to be French, Australian, US, or Stan Wawrinka. I mean, I'm looking back and it's like they're not giving wild cards out to anyone outside of that category. And by the way, I think Stan is like sort of the French part of Switzerland, so that's another reason why they probably give him one. They gave Andy Murray a wild card a few years ago in 2020, which but obviously Andy Murray, right? It's a special case, right? But yeah, anyways, we'll see. That goes for the same for the ladies, by the way. The same rule applies for the ladies, which makes me think: will the US use their French Open wildcard on Venus, or will they give it to an up-and-coming player? Right? I mean, last year they gave it to Jovic, and again last year it was the same thing. Australia, US got one, and then everybody else was French. The year before that they gave it to Vickery. So will they give it to Venus? Will that be the wild card? Will she get the wild card entry? That is the question. Yeah, on the women's side, again, same thing. They don't really give wild cards out to non-French, or if they had that rule with Australians and the US. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Who is on the? Are there any? I mean, Sloane Stephens, I think, is not on the entry list. She's on the alts list. Who else is there? So there's Badosa. But again, I think Badosa and Dimitrov might be in the same boat where they're like, you know what? Make them play quali so then we can put them on the face of the qualifying and then they can sell tickets to the qualis, right? Like they do in every other Grand Slam. So yeah, Badosa and Dimitrov are probably going to be the face of the qualifier draw, right? So yeah, you got Stevens, you got Andreescu as well. They probably won't give her a wild card just because, again, that Collins is also. It's either going to. I mean, I wonder if Collins, Stevens, and Venus. They're the three that will probably be up for the wild card for the US. You think they'd probably give it to Venus? But yeah, it will be interesting. Wild cards will be drip fed throughout the next couple of weeks, so we'll find out. Yeah, is Brady playing? I don't know if Brady's playing. Pliskova is also having to play in the qualies. I don't think she'll get a wild card because, again, you have to be French or you have to be part of that Australia-US-French alliance, right? Yeah, but also, I feel like if you're the tournament director of the French Open, right, of Roland Garros, you're looking at the quali draw and you're going Dimitrov and Badosa. Sweet. We're going to put them both on the posters for that week. Like they are going to headline the qualies. So that way they can sell, because back in the day, I don't know if it happened in the French, but at the Australian Open, you used to be able to go to the qualies for free. But now it's got like, they have that whole like, whatever they call it, O week or opening week or whatever they call it. And they charge everybody to go to the qualies, right? Whereas you used to go back, back in 10 years ago, we used to be able to go to the qualies without having to pay. Even less. I think it was like 7, 8 years ago. And it was cool because you could go see some really high, like, you could go see Dimitrov, you can go see Badosa, play the qualies, and there would be no one there. So I don't know if the French Open sell tickets to the qualies, because if they do, then they've obviously got two massive former top players, and also two of the most marketable players on the tour in their tournament, right, in the quali draw. All right. Anyways, who is going to win? Let's see how Ruud is after that really long match, and also Blockx. We haven't watched him before. Seems like a very big hitting, big serving, scary kind of player, which is going to be interesting to see how Ruud can respond to him. He elected to receive. Did Blockx. So let's see what Ruud's got. Ruud has an underrated serve, so let's see. I'm going to go Ruud in 3. But let's see how Blockx does against the defending champion. All right, here we go. Ruud to serve. And he hits a nice serve to start. Forehand into that Blockx forehand. And then forehand goes up the line from Ruud. Backhand Blockx into the forehand of Ruud. That Blockx backhand on the stretch. And then Ruud inside out forehand winner. Whew. Point. 15 love. Serve again. Into the backhand. Oh, Blockx. Forehand from Ruud again. The backhand Blockx, but Ruud overhit it. And it's 15-0. All right, 15-0. As Ruud serves a let. Oh, it was a double. It was a fault, was it? Okay, double fault. Love 15-30. All right, 15-30. The US wildcards are awarded through the accumulated points at low-level tournaments. Low-level USTA clay tournaments. Is that true? I thought that was only for the US Open. As with a forehand lob from Blockx. Ruud puts away the smash. 30-0. Is that true for all Grand Slams, or is it just for the French Open? Wait, actually, you might be right, because Navarro got a wild card a couple years ago for being really good in challenger clay court events. Is it? Did they do that for the US as well, or not for the US? That's actually a really interesting. I like the way they do that. Then that's a good way of doing it. That seems fair, right? So that means Venus won't get one. All right, 40-30, Ruud. All right, 40-30. Ruud serves again. Here's a fault, second serve. Just the USTA. Low-level USTA clay tournaments. So wait, it doesn't count for like US... So it doesn't count for... So hang on, what? Backhand return. Goes long by Blockx, 1 love. Hang on, let me get this right. So... Only clay events in the US count towards the points for the wild card. For the French. Or is it all challenger events throughout the clay season? Is this somewhere I can read? They used to in Australia do a wildcard playoff back in the day, but then they cancelled it after COVID, which sucks because it was really, really good. I used to go there, and that's where I met Leighton. They used to have like all the Aussies playing. Oh, okay, so I found it. So 2026 Roland Garros Wildcard Challenge. Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? As we're 4 now, the backhand of Ruud. 4 now from Blockx in the net, love 15. So the Wildcard Challenge. The road to Paris in late March for Americans competing at Roland Garros was... results on clay court events across 5 weeks between March 30 and the 3rd of May. The Challenge awards a French Open wildcard for the men and the women. So it is those ones that I mentioned. Wildcards will be granted to Americans who earn the ranking points, including qualifying and main draw points. So Venus could get one still because she played a main draw. So it says here, all red clay events from W35 and above and M25 and above for the men, including ATP and WTA events and challenges. So Baseveretti is currently leading against over Nava for the wild card spot, and you got Arobo as they fix the net. Oh, has Ruud broken a net already this week? Is that the second net he's broken this week? God, what's with... This is the second net that he's broken for the week. Or did Blockx break it with his racket? Did Blockx break it with his serve? I think this is the second time Ruud's had a broken net on the court. He's jinxed. I don't think Ruud did it. I think it was off the Blockx serve. Ruud pretty much destroyed the net against Fokina. Ruud's just like, I guess we'll do it again. I mean, Ruud the net breaker. Too much topspin? Yeah, too much topspin's ripping the net apart. It's 15-0, by the way. All right, so just fixing up the net. Yeah, so Arobo is the current leader for the wild card, and then Day and Stevens after that. Oh, that was back in... Oh, no, that was the latest. Okay. So what events are they... So they've been doing this since 2012. This is actually a really cool idea. I like it. They're just fixing the net because it broke again. So yeah, it was off the Blockx serve. So Blockx was the one who broke the net, but Ruud is on the court again when a net has been broken. All right. That's a cool idea, though. I like that. I think that's a cool idea. Doing, instead of giving a wild... So that means Venus won't get it. But they might give Venus a wild card anyway, but we'll see. Also, actually, you know what? I don't think Venus is playing the French because apparently she went back home or something. I read somewhere that she, after Madrid, she didn't go to Rome because she wasn't going to play there, so that she's gone back. So maybe she's not playing Roland Garros. But we'll wait and see. Does anyone know why she went back? I read something that she was not playing Rome. No, they're literally re-taping the net, the center part of the net. I think Badosa should get a wild card instead of Venus. She's not going to get one. Like I said, unless you're French, Australian, or you go for that, or you win the US. Now that I found out, you win that US Roland Garros Challenger, or Challenge. Yeah, but Osaka's not going to get one unless there's not unless they have a spare one because they've given all the French ones out. But they can find players 500 in the world to give a French wildcard to. It's not like France are lacking players, you know. Yeah, Blockx served and it broke the net. She's co-chairing a gala. Okay, yeah, that's what I read. That's what I read. Oh, cool. Thanks, Hadar. RG will not give her a wild card. Rome didn't either. Wimbledon probably will. Yeah, Wimbledon will. She's a former champion there. Roland Garros haven't given out wild cards yet, I don't think. Because the entry list just came out, so I don't think they've given out any wild cards yet. But there's word, obviously, about who's going to get some. But I don't think they've given out any wild cards yet. All right. 15-0 is Blockx with a good serve. 30-15. The Met Gala. She's co-chairing. Yeah. So she's obviously going to do that instead because it sounds more fun. 30-15. There's a fault from Blockx. Second serve. Yeah, standard Monfils definitely will get one. But yeah. There's a forehand out of the backhand of Ruud. Forehand out from Blockx. Again to the backhand of Ruud is Blockx. Forehand again. Into the backhand of Ruud is Blockx. Forehand again to the forehand of Ruud. Into the backhand of Blockx. Ruud. Forehand cross court is a winner. Nice hitting from Ruud. 30-0. All right, 30-0. As we got a fault, second serve. As we got a forehand from Ruud into the forehand of Blockx. Blockx in the net. And it's 30-40. Ruud with a break point. All right, serve again. Second serve. As Ruud runs around into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud forehand on the stretch. Is long, and we get to deuce. All right, deuce. Do you think a French player wins a Roland Garros before 2050? Yes. Well, you got 24 years until the next one? Yeah. Face. All right, advantage Blockx. And on the women's side, you probably can get one too. All right, first serve is good. The return goes out by Ruud. And it's... one game all. One all. That goes out by Ruud, and it's love 15. Love 15. As Ruud serves again. Into the back of the blocks. Love goes up. And Ruud hits a forehand on the baseline. Blockx backhand. Again, the forehand of Ruud is Blockx with another backhand. Into the forehand of Ruud. Blockx again with the backhand to the Ruud forehand. Ruud goes inside in long. And it's love 30. Danger for Ruud on serve here. As we get a fault second serve. As a return. Goes into the forehand of Ruud. Blockx backhand. Into the backhand of Ruud. Again, the backhand of Blockx up the line of the forehand of Ruud. Blockx backhand again. As Ruud backhand goes into the backhand of Blockx, but Ruud hit it out. Love 40. Love 40. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Serving to the backhand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud. Again to the forehand of Blockx. Into the backhand of Ruud. Drop shot is good. Blockx gets there with a drop shot back. Oh, way too good. All right. Blockx breaks 2-1. Great pickup off the drop shot. All right, 2-1. Blockx leads. All right. Good start. All right, so at the moment, the thing that Blockx is doing most effectively is using the forehand. That's why Ruud keeps on trying to hit inside-out forehands to hit the Blockx backhand. Because Blockx is hitting great forehands. His forehand is a serious problem. And Ruud's trying to go with but Ruud loves an inside-out forehand anyway. And that's one of his better, or inside in and inside out. So he's using that forehand, Ruud, to try and rip it into the backhand of Blockx, but it's just not working. Blockx is not worried at that. And Ruud's not pushing Blockx out enough. Both these guys' main weapons are forehands. And whoever can find the backhand more will most likely win this. Yeah, but I think Blockx has a better serve, right? Or maybe not. I mean, Ruud's serve isn't bad. Return goes in from Ruud. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud backhand. The backhand of Blockx is Ruud. Forehand again is shanked. And long. That's 15 love. So yeah, Ruud's already hit 4 unforced errors on the forehand side. Which has been a problem. As Blockx serves a fault, second serve. As Blockx double faults. 15-0. Nice shirt. Got a rep when we win. All right, forehand from Ruud. Inside out to the slicer, Blockx. Into that Ruud forehand. Cross court now to the forehand Blockx with a lob. In comes Ruud with a forehand. Winner, 15-30. Nice work from Ruud. That was much better on the forehand side that time. Using it effectively there. All right, 15-30. As a return goes into the smash of Blockx. Ruud with another lob. Blockx puts that one away. 30-all. 30-all. Who thinks going to win? I'm going to go Ruud in 3, but I'll tell you, Blockx is playing some solid tennis. 30-all. First serves a fault, second serve. As a return goes into the forehand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud again. The forehand of Blockx. Ruud with a slice. As Blockx hits a forehand slice. Ruud backhand slice again. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud slice again. Into the forehand of Blockx as Ruud goes cross court. Now Blockx on the stretch with a slice. Ruud forehand again. Cross court. Oh, he just dragged it wide. And it's 40-30. Have you guys already discussed the reciprocal wildcard agreement between the AO, French, and US? Yes, we have. We actually talked about wildcards at length for the first, 20 minutes of the match. 40-30. As a return goes in from Ruud to the forehand of Blockx. Ruud up the line. Goes long with a forehand again. And Blockx goes to 3-1. But Ruud's forehand is just not hitting. All right. Three one. Good serve from Ruud. Blockx gets it back. And then Ruud goes to the slicer. Blockx with another lob. Good defense by Blockx. And then Ruud just puts away the smash. Jeez. I'll tell you, Blockx is making Ruud work for these points. 15-love. All right, 15-love. As Ruud serves again. To the back of the Blockx. Forehand from Ruud. Goes out again. God, Ruud with the errors. 6 forehand errors now. And it's 15-all. Serving to the forehand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud to the back of Blockx. And Blockx in the net. 30-15. Out of all the new generation guys showing up this year, whose potential is the greatest? Okay. That's a good question. I'll answer that after this. 30-15. Could you send me a list of the players that you're thinking of, though? Because it's a new generation popping up this year, or are you talking about, give me the list of names that you're referring to. Obviously, Hodar, Blockx are on that list. If you can just give me a list of names, I can go through, rather than me trying to, because new generation could be guys that have been around for Feast could be new generation. He's been around for a while, though. But he's still young, so, what's the list of guys? All right, forehand win inside out to the backhand. Oh, Blockx volley from Ruud is long. Jeez. I don't know what that volley was from Ruud. All kinds of awkward. 40-30. God, Ruud is just making all these errors. 24 minutes, by the way. Long first set. All right, 40-30. As Ruud serves. To the backhand of Blockx. Backhand of Ruud is a winner. That's a great shot. All right, Ruud's on the board again. 3-2. 3-2. Yeah, so if you could just send me a list of players that you're referring to, then I can go through it. Fils is older than the other guys, though. I feel like he's like the Sinner generation. All right, so you're talking about Fils. Okay, here we go. You said Fonseca, Blockx, Hoda, Tien, Fils, Kaboli, and Zhang. Well, Zhang's been injured a lot, so I think he's sort of behind all of those guys for now. Who's got the most potential out of those guys? Fonseca. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I'll tell you why I didn't pick Hoda. And I haven't picked, but with Fils though is also, but I think Fonseca over Fils. The reason why I didn't pick Hoda is because I can see potential for sure, like 100%, right? He's obviously great. But we've got to wait, like with Fonseca, right? When he popped off in Australia, we already knew he could play on clay. So then when he started popping off last year in Australia, we're like, holy shit, he can play on hard courts too. So, like, we haven't seen Hoda pop off on any other surface yet. So, and I know that he can, right? Because I've been talking about it for the last few days that in juniors, he was good on hard courts. He was good on grass. You know, he's obviously good on clay. But for now, I'm going with Fonseca still because he's proven that he can play on all surfaces. Plus, he's also, pushed Sinner, which was a great result. He pushed Zverev, which was a great result. And he's also challenged, he played Alcaraz, so at least he's got that under his belt too. Plus, he's also won an indoor hard court 500 and a clay court tournament as well. And he seems to be able to play on the grass too. We saw last year he had a tough match against Kaboli, and I think he lost to maybe Hurkacz at Wimbledon, or did he beat Hurkacz at Wimbledon? Which is crazy good result there. So yeah, for me it's Fonseca, but Hoda is. Everyone's getting crazy for Hoda, right? Because he's been playing well lately. But we've got to wait and see what he does on other surfaces before we can, Same with, by the way, Menchik should be on that list. Menchik also should be on that list. Because I feel like Hoda and Menchik might be in a similar kind of category. But obviously Menchik is a year older and I got better results, right? So Menchik should be on that list too. Tien, though, doesn't have the clay court tennis yet. But Tien's got great hardcourt abilities, right? We know that. And Fils, he's come back so strong, so I'm keen to see how he does for the next year or the next 6 months. But I'm still going with Fonseca. I feel like Fonseca, the way he plays is just so much like Alcaraz at times, so and Alcaraz is pretty good. 30-15. As we get a drop shot from Ruud, it's 30-0. 30-0. But it's going to be exciting because it's awesome that we have all these guys to watch and see. Because to be honest, who knows? Maybe one of them pops off in a slam and wins a slam, unexpectedly. Maybe it's maybe it is. Kaboli or someone like that does it instead of the guys that we thought would do it, right? Cilic and Delpo won slams unexpectedly. As with a backhand now into the forehand of Ruud, backhand out from Blockx to the forehand of Ruud. To the forehand of Blockx as Ruud with the forehand up the line. Blockx backhand cross court. Ruud with a slice. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with the forehand cross court in the net. It's 40-30. Mind you, Delpo was definitely on the radar when he won a slam, but he wasn't he wasn't expected to win a slam then. 40-30. First serve's a fault, second serve. Serving to the backhand of Ruud. Backhand from Blockx. Into the forehand of Ruud as Blockx backhand again to the forehand of Ruud. Ruud hits it out again, man. Ruud's forehand didn't come to play. He's hit 8 forehand errors already, Ruud. Out of 11 errors for the match. So Ruud's forehand is... He's got to find it. He's got to find it. Who's this guy in the front row that they keep zooming in on? Does anyone know who that is? Tien's ranked higher than Menchik, Fonseca, Hodar, Blockx. The undermining is breathtaking. Look, don't take it personal, Saida. It's nothing personal against Tien. It's just that the question was, who has the potential to be the greatest of those guys? Tien's great. He's consistent. But I think there's a ceiling to him compared to the others. But Tien is I think Tien's proven to be the most consistent if he's high ranked, which is great. And we've got to see Tien play more of those guys so then we can kind of get an idea of, like, amongst them who's the best. But he hasn't played them enough. And we haven't seen Fonseca play like Menchik, and Hodar hasn't played any of them yet. You know, in a real match, not the next gen finals. Come on now. 30 love Ruud. But yeah, Tien's definitely, and on hard courts, he doesn't have the clay court tennis. At least he hasn't shown that yet. But the hard courts, he's clearly a great player. And the difference between him and the others, I think, is Grand Slams. He's been better in slams to start his career. I think that's why he's higher ranked too, right? Is that he has those Grand Slam like the quarterfinal points, right? Whereas the other guys don't have Slam quarterfinal points, right? I have a soft spot for Lerner. That's all right. I think like 12 months ago, everyone was saying that he was in front, right? He was the guy. And then now it's probably not obvious. I don't think it's one guy is like, you know, Fonseca's been great lately. Menchik's obviously got skill. Tien hasn't been doing much lately because of the clay, and then Hodar's come out of nowhere. Block's just doing stuff like it's kind of, yeah. And Fischer's come back with a bang. So it's just exciting that we can talk about more than just one, because everyone's like, oh, who's going to be the third guy? There's like 7 different guys. Who's to say it's not going to be a Big 10 instead of a Big 2 or 3? You know? I think that'd be way better if there was 10 guys in the top 10, all with Grand Slams, all under the age of 30. I don't know when we would have had that. Maybe back in the early 90s. Like that would be sick. The new gen look really promising. Oh, yeah. It's a young guns brigade. That's it. Can Ruud come back in this set? Yeah, it's only one break, and he's been in some of the service games. If they can reach their potential, I feel like we might have a seriously good field of 5 years down the road. Oh, yeah, for sure. And look, I'm going to say the obvious thing and be a little bit harsh. But like 5 years from now, Djokovic is out, right? He's gone. 5 years from now, Zverev is 34, right? Fritz is 33. He probably still plays. Medvedev will be 35. Who knows? Probably won't be playing. I don't think Medvedev is going to be playing until he's 40. Hashanov at 34. Is he going to still be around? FAA will be 30, which is, he'll still be playing, obviously. 33 Bublik. Demon will be 32. Sinner will be 29 and Alcaraz will be 27. So they'll be like in their, you would think in their prime, right? That's sort of like the peak of most of the guys. Shelton will be 28. But yeah, and then you got, all these young guys that will be in their mid-20s. So, yeah, it's going to look really interesting. Even 3 years. I mean, 3 years from now, is Djokovic here? I don't know. Alcaraz is 25 at that point. All these younger guys will be 21, 22. Like, that could have a whole different look in 3 years' time. We might not have to wait until, for 5 years. I love 30 here. Ruud. Chance to get the break back. Forehand up the line at the back end of Blockx. Ruud forehand inside in. Blockx gets it back, and then Ruud slicing the net. 15-30. 15-30. Serve again. Is a let. Loved it when Becker, Sampras, Agassi, and Edberg were all winning multiple slams, and there were a handful of other guys sniping titles as well. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see that because all I've known in tennis is Federer dominating was when I started watching tennis, like 2003, and then like the GOATs just taking everything. And I'm like, I want to see a generation like that early 90s where you had Courier win a few. You had Sampras starting off. You had Agassi. It was sort of like the end of the McEnroe-Connors era, and then we're going into that 90s with Becker and Edberg, and we didn't have just a couple of guys with like 20 each. We had, more guys with like 5. It was awesome. But that would be so awesome to have that. Where then we go into a Grand Slam and it's not like you or you, it's like any of you 10 could win a slam. Like that's really fun. And even like the early 2000s, right? I mean, the early 2000s was a little bit like that. There was no one dominating that. As we're a forehand now from Blockx. Oh, did he miss it? He overhit it. We got the break back. Ruud, 4-0. 4 games all. All right, Blockx overhitting the approach. 4-4. All right, Ruud's back on serve despite not playing great. All right, is Ruud good serve? 15 love. As the return goes into the forehand of Ruud. Backhand now from Blockx into the forehand of Ruud. There's Blockx backhand again, the forehand of Ruud. Blockx backhand again to the backhand of Ruud into the forehand of Blockx, but Ruud hit it out 15-0. Carl said that his younger brother is better than him. History says Serena, Mirra, and Naomi all better than their youngest as a younger sibling. Yeah, what about Murray? Was Andy Murray younger as well? And what about the McEnroe brothers? Was John younger? How far does this theory go? 15-0. As it is served down the backhand, but it's the only one that breaks it. Oh, what about Zverev, right? Is Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is the older brother, and he's better. But Zverev is younger too, and he's better than Misha, or better results. John was older, okay. So that he breaks the mold. Andy younger. 15-0. Yeah, Cerundolo as well, that's true. Fran's better at the moment. Oh, Murray's older? Oh, okay. Anyways, backhand down the line to the volley of Ruud, and Ruud puts it away, 30-15. Maybe it's only on the women's side that it's a thing. Maybe it's only on the WTA. On the ATP, older brothers are better than the younger brothers, and on the WTA, it's the younger sisters. I mean, what about Safin and Safina? Safin was better because he won the slams. And he is younger. Oh, okay. Berrettini older too. Oh, yeah, true. The Berrettini brothers. That's true. 30-15. There's a bit of serve out wide. The backhand of Blockx, and then Ruud with a lovely forehand, and Blockx in the net. 40-15. All right, Ruud to take the lead. (40-15). As the return goes into the forehand of Ruud. Backhand from Blockx. Into the backhand of Ruud as Blockx backhand up the line. Ruud gets the forehand back into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud forehand again to the forehand of Blockx. Into the backhand of Ruud. Blockx with the forehand. Into the forehand of Ruud on the stretch. Blockx forehand inside in. That's a good shot. Ruud gets it back but overhits it. And we get to 40-30. 40-30. All right, serve again. Here's a fault. Second serve. All right, second serve. Into the backhand of Blockx. Drop shot Ruud in the net. Wasn't a bad idea. Just wasn't great execution. All right, deuce. Serving to the forehand of Ruud. Blockx, forehand from Ruud over, hits it. And Blockx has got a break point. All right. Juan Carlos Ferrero ain't coaching nobody. All right? He's coaching a golfer. He ain't coaching Hodar. He's not coaching Alcaraz. He's coaching golf. Serve is a fault. And chat, I'll say this until I pass out. Hodar is not changing coaches until he needs to. As the backhand return goes in the forehand of Ruud. Backhand out from Blockx. Into the forehand of Ruud. It's Blockx. Backhand again. Into the Ruud forehand. Blockx gets a forehand of his own. Ruud's in control with the forehand. Blockx backhand on the stretch. Ruud. Forehand again. Into the backhand of Blockx. Ruud forehand again. To the backhand of Blockx. Ruud with a volley. Blockx going to get it with a pass. Ruud with a drop volley in the net. Ruud just played a little safe, and he's getting annoyed. I think he's saying that the strings aren't producing the power or spin that he wants. He's going to get a new racket, Ruud, but yeah. Ruud's like, I can't do anything here. All right, 5-4. Block's going to serve the set. Andy Murray free to coach. No, he's playing golf. He's busy. He is going to be too busy. Waiting for Baptiste versus Mirra. Yeah, that's coming on soon. We're all just fantasizing, Cam. Look, I got to be honest. You might be. But a lot of people are actually serious. Being like, oh, Juan Carlos Ferrero could coach Hodar. Why? Because they're Spanish? Like, why doesn't Leighton Hewitt coach... well, he does coach De Minaur sometimes. But why doesn't Andre Agassi coach Ben Shelton? Because Ben Shelton and his dad are doing all right. Same with Casper Ruud. Him and his dad are doing fine. Zverev and his dad are doing fine. I mean, yeah, okay, Zverev hasn't won a slam, but he's still been consistent. He's still number 3. Until Hodar gets to like a point where he just kind of can't break through that next level, why would he replace his dad? Coco, by the way, is a good example of somebody who did end up, replacing her dad as coach when she needed to. She didn't do it at the first sign of success. She did it when they both felt like he had, and by the way, Coco's dad deserves a lot of credit because it would not be easy to step down as the coach / the dad to let someone else take over that role that you've been sitting in forever. He stepped back when he felt like, we can't get to where we want to go if I'm the coach. We need somebody else. Hodar is not in that position at all. He is just getting started. Like, it would be psychotic for him to be like, oh, by the way, Dad, you're done. I'm bringing in Juan Carlos Ferrero somehow. Like, why? Why? 15 love. Steph ditched his dad for Goran. Yeah, but that was after years of Steph just like hitting that ceiling and not being able to get through to the next level. And that didn't work out. So he went back to his dad. And he's starting to slowly come back. So yeah. So anyone who thinks that Hodar needs to ditch the dad is crazy at this stage. Way too early for that. There's what a point now from Ruud to the slice of Blockx. Ruud with a volley. Blockx with a pass. Oh, he ripped it up the line, but he hit it long. 15-0. Just hit it long. That would have been a crazy pass. $15-0. As Blockx serves again. As the return goes out from Ruud, 30-15. All right, 30-15. Blockx serves again. And it's a fault second serve. Serve into the backhand of Ruud. Forehand from Blockx. Into the backhand of Ruud is Blockx. Forehand again. Into the backhand of Ruud. Blockx comes in with a forehand. Ruud with a backhand lob. Lands out. 40-15. Blockx to take the first set. 40-15. Blockx with a serve. A fault, second serve. Second serve, the forehand of Ruud. Turn the forehand of Blockx up the line, hit the tape. Ruud gets it back with the forehand into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud forehand cross court again. Blockx goes up the line, but overhits it. Ooh. Two forehands he's ripped up the line and missed. Still set point though, 40-30. As the return goes in, the forehand of Blockx. Backhand from Ruud to the backhand of Blockx. Ruud backhand down the middle. Blockx gets it back with the forehand. Ruud forehand cross court. Blockx gets it with the forehand up the line. Both are shaking it, and Ruud hits a forehand winner. Eventually. And we get to deuce. But that was an ugly point. Both were shanking balls all over the place. Since when was Blockx this good? I mean, he was good in the challenges at the start of the year. He really had a great, start of the year. He had a decent run in Monte Carlo. He's been doing it on the Challenger circuit. That's what That's where he's been kind of working in the shadows, right? Even last year, end of last year, he won a hard court challenger. He made the next gen finals final. He won the challenger at the start of the year in Canberra, and then he made a hard court final as well in France, semi-final in France on the challenger circuit. So yeah, he's been working in the shadows, mainly on the hard courts. As with a forehand out of the backhand of Blockx, forehand out from Ruud. Inside in's a good shot. Blockx slices it back. Ruud comes in. Forehand straight to Blockx. Lob goes up. Ruud with a smash. Blockx is back in the rally. Ruud with a volley, and he puts it away. Jeez, Ruud should have won that point 3 shots ago. Like, he hit it straight to Blockx. I don't know why he wouldn't rip that cross court, but whatever. Deuce. So Blockx has been really good on the hard courts, and we have a lot of players that do well on hard courts that do well here. Like, this is not your typical clay court event. Like, Blockx lost to Shelton in Munich. He lost to Demon or Monte Carlo. So, again, that's not bad. Now he's playing Ruud. He didn't play Indian. Oh, he played Indian Wells, lost in the qualies. And he lost in the qualies of Miami as well. But, yeah. But no, he's been bubbling for a while. And he was due for a breakout. All right, Ruud makes another error. Set point number 4. Serve to the back of Ruud. Return goes short. Blockx comes in. Puts it away. There's the first set. It was a weird first set for Ruud. Blockx plays solid, but Ruud making some silly, silly errors. Especially on his faithful forehand. But Blockx gets the first set. 6-4. 6-4 to Blockx. All right. 8.4 for Blockx, 7.9 for Ruud. Only the 4 break points, 3 breaks in 4 break points. So it was a lot of a lot of breaks. But yeah, Blockx a lot more solid on the ground. 6 winners, 9 errors. Ruud with the 12 winners and 13 errors, but he had 10 forehand winners, but 11 forehand errors. So Ruud's forehand is very, very crazy. 7 forehand errors for Blockx as well. So both these guys' forehands were letting them down at times. But yeah, that was Blockx got off to a better start. And Ruud was fighting back. But that was a very, very competitive set. 12 winners, so 10 forehand errors from Ruud. Ruud actually hit a lot of volley winners, which is interesting. Come to the net and won 5 points at the net on the volleys. But, yeah, both these guys are trying. It's funny. They're both trying to do the same thing. They're both trying to hit forehands to the backhand of their opponent. They're both trying to rip forehands into their opponent's backhands to then hopefully get the short ball to put away on the forehand again, right? Like they're both trying to do that strategy. A lot of inside-out forehands have been attempted. Ruud's inside-out forehand is one of his most successful shots. Also inside-in. So basically, what the difference? It's the same court position when you're hitting an inside-in or inside-out, right? So inside-in or inside-out is when you run around a backhand, right? So Ruud is here, right? Let's just put Blockx in the middle. So you have the backhand. Wait, are we on the right side? Yeah, backhand, right? And instead of hitting a backhand, you run around and you can either hit your forehand inside out, which is this way, or you hit it inside in, which is this way, right? And that's what Ruud is doing a lot of. He's hitting a lot of inside out, which he loves to do, just rip that inside out forehand and hit it to that person's backhand. Or hit it inside in if he's already pushed, if he's hit one of these and he's got Blockx way out here, he can then open up the court, like put it into the open court, right, for an inside in forehand. Again, avoiding the backhand at all costs because they don't want to. Both of these guys don't want to, don't really want to hit backhands. But yeah, dancing around, using the footwork to get around that backhand, hit the forehand, either hit it inside in or inside out, really rip it. And Ruud's doing that a lot. Like that's his main shot in this match so far. Blockx is actually hitting a lot of cross-court backhands. That seems to be his main thing, but that's again because a result of Ruud ripping forehands to the Blockx backhand. Love 30 here as Ruud hits a smash. Blockx puts it up again. Ruud hits another smash, puts it away, 15-30. Yeah, Blockx is going more for the cross-court options. He's going like backhand cross-court, forehand cross-court. That's sort of his strategy at the moment. But he's also going forehand up the line a fair bit as well, like ripping it up the line as well. Especially when Ruud is, trying to move around. He's like, I'll push you cross court and then I'll smack it up the line with varying results. 30-all. I keep an eye out for him in the non-challenger events. Hadn't seen many of his good results since the next gen finals. Didn't know he'd been playing so well in challenges. Nice to see him performing Masters. Yeah, he's been grinding on the challenges, and he's been playing qualies as well. So he's been playing like he has been qualifying, which also counts as a couple wins, right? Like his season this year. Yep. As with a backhand rally, 30-all here. Ruud forehand to the backhand of Blockx. Into the forehand of Ruud, again to the backhand of Blockx. Ruud now with the backhand of his own. Blockx backhand into the Ruud forehand. Inside out forehand again goes... Oh, it goes in by Ruud on the baseline, and Blockx hits it long. So yeah, Blockx is 25 wins, 9 losses. I mean, that's crazy considering that, and that's including... So in the qualies, he's won 5 and lost 3 qualifying matches this year. And he's 12 wins, 3 losses on challenges. So that's where he's only 8-3 on the main tour. But he has won 25 matches. Qualifiers count as wins. Well, to him they count, right? Maybe not to his record. Challenges don't count to his record either. But in 2026, he has won 25 and lost 9. So... mostly on the challenges, but they still count. I mean, confidence, that's a confident record. I mean, we'll talk about on Boko this time last year. Remember how she was dominating in the shadows. Nobody was talking about her challenger wins, and then all of a sudden she pops off, and we're like, where the hell she come from? Oh wait, she'd won 6 tournaments already in the season, even if they weren't WTA. They were still confidence boosting wins. And Blockx is kind of like that. He's kind of popped off out of nowhere. But when you look back, you're like, actually, no. He was doing well. We just weren't paying attention. I have Ruud a little surprised. Okay. As Blockx wins the first point. 15-love. All right, 30-love. As return goes to forehand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud on the stretch goes wide. And it's 30-love. Maybe Ruud is gassed against Tsitsipas for maybe a bit. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he doesn't show any signs of fatigue, but maybe that's where the error is, why he's hitting errors. Could be a result as that goes wide by Ruud to 40-love. Love. As we serve to the forehand of Ruud, return goes into the forehand of Blockx, and he hits a forehand inside in for a winner, and he levels. So apparently Alcaraz's brother is playing. There's an under 16 event going on in Madrid, and Alcaraz is there watching his younger brother. Let me have a look. What's going on with that? Because that stuff doesn't get spoken about unless somebody somebody with a high profile is there, like Alcaraz. What is the under 16s event that runs alongside this? All right, 1-1. Where's the draw? Can I see the draw? All right, 1-0. There's a 4-1 winner there from Blockx. Beautiful shot. All right, Ruud. 1 hour played here. Love 15. All right, as we drop shot from Ruud. Blockx gets there with a slice. Ruud with a lob. Oh, why'd he do that? He hits it wide. Ruud just getting a little too fancy. Love 30. Love 30. As Ruud comes to the net with a forehand. Cross-court winner. And it's 15-30. As the backhand return goes in there by Blockx. 30-0. Yeah, Ruud needs to stay in front here. Needs to keep that lead. 30-0. Serve again, Ruud. Here's a fault, second serve. As we're serving to the back end of Blockx. Return goes forehand of Ruud. Blockx with a forehand on the stretch. Ruud, forehand up the line. Blockx there with the backhand. Ruud forehand again to the backhand of Blockx. Ruud forehand again. Goes cross court. That's a great shot. Blockx slices it wide. And Ruud gets to 40-30. Much better on the forehand there from Ruud. All right. 40-30. As Ruud serves a fault, second serve. Serve to the backhand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud on the stretch. Blockx gets it with the forehand in the net. And Ruud does stay in front. 2-1. I hope Ruud has a great run at Roland Garros. Yeah, well, currently his ranking puts him in a very awkward position. he is currently 25 in the world, which is okay. It means that he will be in the top 24 because Alcaraz is out. So he will avoid playing, Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, Sinner, Zverev, Djokovic. He won't have to play them in the third round, which could happen if he does drop a little bit lower. But he still might play in the third round against Musetti. He might play in the third round against Fils. Third round match against Kaboli. And Rublev as well. So he's in that really awkward spot where he could still play a top, 15 guy or even a top, 10 guy potentially in a third round. So he needs to get his ranking up a little bit higher. He needs to get it into the top 16, which means he needs to win, either do well here to get to that or do well in Rome, like make it to the semis or the final there to sort of get himself in that top 16. Because the top 16, that's where you can avoid everybody, all the big names until the fourth round. So yeah, Fonseca's also in that awkward kind of position. And so is Hodar. Hodar and Fonseca, but those guys are less likely to be top 16, right? We expect, we kind of know that Ruud is better than, 25. But yeah, so like Sinner could have to play Hodar or Fonseca in a third round, or Menchik as well. Menchik's there too. But yeah, so it's going to really depend on his draw, Ruud, but also it depends on his ranking before the draw. Because he might get a good ranking but still get a bad draw, right? Or vice versa. He might get a bad ranking, but the draw plays out that he doesn't have to play. He plays Demonor in the third round, right? Which is probably the best case right now. Or Medvedev, right? Medvedev, Ruud, third round Roland Garros, right? If that happens. As Hodar shanks it wide, and it's 15-0. All right, serve again. Into the forehand of Ruud. Blocks with the forehand. Inside out winner, I think. Yeah, hit the line. 30-15. As Blockx comes to the net, misses it. 30-0. All right, Ruud's a chance here. As Blockx serves a fault. Serve again. Into the forehand of Ruud. Return goes into the forehand of Blockx. Blockx in the net. Ruud's got break point. 30-40. 30-40. As the return goes into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with a forehand into the nets. And we get the deuce. Cam, congrats on 295K. Onwards to 300. Thank you. Yep, we're almost at 300K. God, chat, I don't even understand how that even happened. Oh, that's crazy. All right. Deuce. There's a backhand return from Ruud into the backhand of Blockx. Ruud with the backhand into the forehand of Blockx. To the Ruud backhand is Blockx forehand again. Into the slice of Ruud. Ruud in the net. And it's advantage Blockx to level. Subscribed at 66K. Even that's crazy. Like the fact that we got to 66,000. Can you do more game analysis? What, of this match or of like in videos? Advantage Blockx. As a backhand return goes long by Ruud. And it's 2-0. Blockx holds. 300K Blockx party. That's it. Ruud needs to minimize the errors for real. Yeah. Yep, Ruud's hitting a lot of forehand errors for sure. Mentioning that ongoing. As Ruud with a drop shot winner. Beautiful. Beautiful drop shot. In this second set, though, Ruud's only hit the one error on the forehand, so he's definitely playing a lot better in the second set. Remember, this point in the first set, he was already hit like 5 or 6 errors on the forehand. So, by the way, that was a beautiful volley. So, yeah, he's only hit the one error. Blockx is making him hit a lot of errors. So, there's a lot of forced errors from Ruud, which is just too good for Blockx, right? You're just like, well, I can't. Like that break point he had, Blockx made him hit an error. It wasn't Ruud. As Blockx hits an inside-out winner, what a shot! And that's because Blockx got the first set, so he can go for it, which, you know, he's got the confidence to have to just to rip it. That was a ridiculous shot. But yeah, Ruud's only hit the one error in the second set, so he's playing a lot better. But Blockx is also playing with that carefree, you know, I've got a set in my pocket kind of attitude, you know. 15-0. As Ruud serves a fault second serve. Where do you guys watch? Oh, that's a great question. The new Tennis TV app. You can watch this match on there. If you scan the QR code or click the link down below. Drop shot, Ruud. Blockx going to get there with a slice. Ruud with a half volley. Blockx with a volley. Slice from Ruud down the line. Blockx with a volley in the net. Ruud. 30-15. Good hustle by Ruud. Yeah, we're collaborating with them, so you can go watch it on the app over there. They've got a bunch of other stuff on there as well if you want to check it out. You can go check out like highlights of previous matches. They've got like a shorts feature where you can see a bunch of little clips of different things that have happened on and off. So plenty of stuff going on over there. You can keep up to date with matches, the schedule's on there. All right, Ruud comes in there and misses that one. 30-0. Thanks, Deb. All right, 30-0. As we're back in the net by Blockx. Good serve, Ruud. 40-30. $40-30. As we serve out wide. And it's a fault. Serve again from Ruud. Serving to the backhand of Blockx. Return goes in front of Ruud. Blockx with the backhand. Again to the Ruud forehand. Blockx. Backhand up the middle. Ruud forehand cross court. Blockx gets it. Ruud forehand again. Into the backhand of Blockx. Up the line's a great shot from Blockx. Slice. Ruud goes wide and we get the deuce. Great backhand from Blockx up the line. All right, deuce. All right, serve again into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with the forehand up the line. Blockx backhand in the net. And it's advantage Ruud. Ruud to keep this lead. As he serves a fault, second serve. Second serve. Into the backhand of Blockx. Ruud with the forehand inside in. Blockx slices it back. As Ruud, forehand inside out winner. All right, Ruud gets the lead again. 3-2. But it's not been easy. All right, 3-2 Ruud. How we doing, chap? Address Blockx as Blockx. Nah, that's too many. That's too hard to say. Ruud is barely hanging on. Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't. He's not being able to. Like, he's getting a few more chances to get the break, but yeah, he's just he's battling to hold his serve at times. All right. Ruud to serve. Sorry, Blockx to serve again. Ruud leads 2-1. Is Ruud worth live betting here? Look, I can't help you with that. You have to make your own decisions. All right, serve again from Blockx. There's a bit of serve from Blockx. A fault, second serve. Serve to the forehand of Ruud. Return to the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with the backhand. To the forehand of Blockx. Ruud again with the forehand. Into the Blockx backhand. Ruud forehand again. To the backhand of Blockx sliced. Ruud on the attack. Drop shot straight to Blockx. Ruud wins a point though. Blockx in the net. Again, Ruud is making some strange choices when he's on the attack. He seems to hit it straight to Blockx. But he got away with that one. Left 15. Who has the best chance against Sinner realistically? Realistically, probably Fils or Cobolli. I would say. Just because they are going to play all out, aggressive, and could annoy Sinner like that. I don't know if Zverev, the way that things have been going, if he's going to be a threat. Because he hasn't been a threat, right? He hasn't. I mean, it's getting... The more they play, the worse he plays against Sinner, right? I mean, the results have been getting steadily worse. Or it was steadily better for Sinner, right? He's been better, beating Zverev easier and easier every time. So probably Fils and Cobolli, the way they play might might disrupt Sinner. I don't know if Ruud can beat Sinner the way he plays. And I don't know about Blockx. I mean, Blockx in the final, I don't know. He might get a little bit nervous because he's playing his big final. Whereas at least Fils in the semis, he'll rate his chances tomorrow. Cobolli in the final, he'll rate his chances. But I don't know, maybe Blockx gets a little bit nervous. Also, both those guys are, well, at least Cobolli's played Sinner, so at least he knows what to expect. Whereas Blockx is going to be like, oh shit, I'm playing Sinner. Yeah. So I don't know. Blockx is a bit of a wild card. But yeah, I think the other two guys probably. The way they play makes me think that they're going to be a better chance. Only if they play well. Because if they hit a lot of errors, it's going to be ugly. Ruud hits that in the net on the backhand. 30-0. 30-0. As the return goes in from Ruud and Blockx hits away the smash, 40-30. Another game that Ruud's had a little opportunity, but hasn't taken it. As Blockx serves a fault, second serve. Serving to the backhand of Ruud. To the backhand of Blockx. Up the line to the forehand of Ruud on the stretch. Blockx. Forehand to the forehand of Ruud. Into the Blockx backhand. Ruud. Forehand. Inside in goes wide. That wasn't a bad idea from Ruud. He just missed it wide though. And it's 3-0. The fact that you did not include Blockx in your team does not necessarily mean He is not superior to Hoda. Yeah, but you didn't make a team, so can you stop stalking my team? I'd appreciate that. All right, 3-0. Are you just like, have you just got my team on your like second tab and you're just like refreshing my team every day? You didn't even make a team, buddy. So can you stop like looking at and stalking my team? We're all feeling very uncomfortable. 3-0. Was it a forehand from Ruud? Goes long. Love 15. Love 15. Why are we basing things off who's better based on ATP fantasy teams? I know, right? It's like Hoda, you didn't pick Blockx, so you must think Hoda's better. It's like, wait, what? I picked Fonseca. Oh, what a shot from Blockx up the line. He points to the sky. It's love 30. Nice work from Blockx. Ruud's in trouble. Love 30. Beautiful backhand up the line. Love 30. As Ruud serves. Into the forehand of Blockx. Return goes to the forehand of Ruud. Now Ruud sprays it. Love 40. Now Ruud's forehand's getting some... producing some more errors. Love 40. He's hit 4 errors on the forehand now. Serve again. Into the backhand of Blockx. Return goes to the forehand of Ruud. Blockx on the stretch, puts up a lob. Ruud lets it bounce. Goes wide. All right, 15-40. One saved. 15-40. Ace out wide, Ruud. 30-40. Current Sinner versus Prime Djokovic. Who wins? Come on. Why are we asking these questions? Why are we disrespecting greatness? Come on. Come on now. You know the answer. 30-40. Ruud serves. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with the forehand to the backhand of Blockx. As Ruud with his backhand. Goes long. Blockx breaks. 4-3. Need I remind you that old man Djokovic, say that respectfully, beat Sinner. Current Sinner. So, prime Djokovic, if we do the math, beats Sinner as well. Okay. Here we go. Blockx has got to set a break. And Ruud just hasn't been as sharp as he's needed to be. He has just been playing almost a little bit safe. Like he's not like that volley there. The one that Blockx hit the backhand winner. He just didn't put it away. He just sort of hit it to Blockx. And Blockx is 2 games away from the semis. Blockx is winning this game for sure. Never knew this guy is this good. Yeah. Yeah, he is playing very well. All right. Let's see if Blockx can get it done. I'll tell you, the last 2 matches he's played, he hasn't got nervous. So I don't think he'll be nervous trying to finish this off. Ruud's going to have to take it away from him. That's the thing. Ruud's going to have to break him. I don't think he's going to break himself. As Blockx serves out wide to the forehand of Ruud. Ruud hits it wide. 15 love. By the way, to the guy in the chat that keeps talking about ATP Fantasy Team, you didn't make a team. So can you stop sitting in an ivory tower looking down upon all of us who actually made a team and stop judging all of us for our choices in our ATP Fantasy teams? You cannot judge us. You are not one of us. You are not part of this game. You cannot judge us for our decisions. Get stuffed. 15-0. Also, stop trying to start smart by using big words. Was it a forehand rally? Again to the forehand of Blockx. Blockx in the net, 15-30. Resource management skills. Bro, you don't even know me. Inadequate planning and resource manager. You don't even know me. $15.30. These young guns have crazy self-belief. Oh, yeah. By the way, Deb, if you're still here. 30-0. As Blockx serves again. Big point here. Blockx, Fonseca, Hodar, Feast, Shelton. Who has the best potential? Fonseca. All right, 30-0. As Blockx serves again. Into the forehand of Ruud. Return. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud, forehand again. Into the backhand of Blockx. Ruud on the attack. He's got to make this work. Backhand out Blockx. Again, the forehand of Ruud. As Blockx, backhand up the line. Ruud gets with the forehand. Into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud, forehand again. Is a drop shot. Blockx can get it. And hit a forehand backhand backhand cross-court winner. A forehand backhand winner. I don't know how that works. We'll find out. It's some magical shot that nobody's ever played. 40-30. Again, Ruud just playing safe. That was just a safe... Like, that drop shot was horrendous. But, like, he had a forehand cross-court and he ripped it down the middle. He didn't go for the wider forehand. And then the drop shot was just like... 40-30. Serve goes in the forehand of Ruud. Return is out. I don't know why he was running around that kick serve. Couldn't control it at all. 5-3. Blockx is one game away. Yeah, just poor decision making from Ruud. Shot selection definitely off as well. And the forehand is not working. Who are you taking? Zverev Kaboli part 2? Zverev. 5-3. Ruud serving to stay in the set and the match. Ruud serves into the back of the Blockx. Return goes in. Ruud slipped, but he's up again. And then he misses the forehand. And he's pointing at the ground where he slipped. Love 15. Compared to the match against Tsitsipas, Ruud is definitely not on. Blockx has been solid, though. He deserves credit. You know, Ruud wouldn't be playing under this much pressure if his opponent wasn't making him think about all these things. But yeah, Ruud's just not on his game. And Blockx is playing phenomenal. Like, he is solid. Serve to the back of the Blockx. That was not a pun. But you can... Oh, whatever. Forehand now goes in from Ruud. Into the forehand of Blockx on the stretch. Ruud backhand. Into the backhand of Blockx on the stretch. Up the line, off the tape. And then Ruud volleys it wide. God, Ruud almost was surprised that he had to hit a volley. Because Blockx hit a beautiful backhand up the line, but hit the tape. And then Ruud, wasn't ready to react. Love 30. 2 points away. As Ruud serves. Into the forehand of Blockx. Good return. The backhand of Ruud. Blockx with a sliced lob. Ruud with a smash. Straight to Blockx, who hits a... Whoa, just wide. He just missed it. Again, Ruud with the smash down the middle. Easy for Blockx to get a shot off. He didn't hit an easy shot, but he hit it straight to Blockx again, who just went, I can hit another winner. And he just missed. Serve to the back and a Blockx. Return goes into the front of Ruud. Has Blockx forehand up the line. Ruud with the backhand. Cross court goes wide. Match point Blockx. 15-40. To make the semi-finals. And get a massive boost in the rankings too. Which we haven't spoken about. We will talk about. All right, serve. There's a fault by Ruud. Second serve. Second serve. Goes into the backhand of Blockx. Forehand from Ruud. Into that Blockx forehand. Ruud up the line. Blockx gets it back with the backhand. Ruud forehand. Into that Blockx forehand on the stretch. Ruud backhand cross court. Winner. Saves one. 30-40. Match point number 2. By the way, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to like the video as well. We're almost at 200 likes. All right, match point number 2. Serve. Ruud. Into the back of the Blockx. Return goes short. Ruud forehand inside out. Blockx with a pass. Ruud with a volley. Blockx with a pass. Ruud with a volley. Blockx with a lob. Ruud with a smash. Finally puts it away. We get the deuce. It took him 3 shots, Ruud, to finally put it away. Even the smash wasn't convincing. It was good enough. All right. Deuce. Yeah, the smash was good enough. Serve again. Down the tee, the backhand of Blockx. Return goes in the front of Ruud. Blockx, backhand on the stretch. Cross court, good angle. Slice Ruud goes in. Oh, and Blockx in the net on the backhand. Try to go up the line. All right. Advantage Ruud. As Ruud serves. Into the Blockx forehand. Return goes long. Advantage. Game Ruud. 5-4. And Blockx is going to serve the match. All right. He did save match points in the last match, did Ruud? Ruud likes living on the edge. Yeah, this is fun. All right, so Blockx, currently ranked 46th in the live rankings, which is a career high. 23 spots up from last week. If he wins today, he will be right behind Hodar in the rankings at 35. Hodar's at 34. So, yeah, career high ranking and just behind Rafael Hodar in the rankings. So, yeah, possible French Open seed if Blockx is able to win this match. And then get a couple of points over in Rome as well. So, yeah, big opportunity for him to close out, close in the rankings, and also almost pretty much chop his ranking in half. He went from 69 to 35, so that's almost pretty much half, which is crazy that one tournament you can do that. By the way, Kripriva also up at career high ranking at the moment as well. So the guys do well this week. They've been really good boost in the rankings. Also, Gaboli's at a career high ranking right now. If Feast wins tomorrow, he'll be getting closer to his career high. Anyways, Blockx is serving for the match. As a return goes in the front of Blockx. 4 now from Ruud up the line. Blockx with a volley. Oh, it's in! Oh, he apologizes. He didn't mean to hit it that good. He's like, sorry. Great volley, though. Just a stab volley. Just throw the racket out and hope for the best. And it worked. Yeah, he didn't mean to hit it that good. That was a phenomenal shot. Even Ruud's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, that was just a hit and hope. 15 love. Second serve in the back of the Ruud. Blockx comes in. Ruud with a pass in the net. 30 love. All right, 30 love. Serve again. Here's a fault. Second serve. Into the backhand of Ruud. Return goes into the forehand of Blockx. Ruud with a forehand to the forehand of Blockx again. Blockx hits an inside-out winner. 40 love. And Blockx has got 3 more match points. They're all on his serve. 40 love. Blockx serves. A fault. Second serve. Double fault. 40-15. Serve again. Into the forehand of Ruud. Return. Goes wide. Blockx is into the semis. He takes out Ruud in straights. And he is still on a phenomenal run. The defending champion's out. All right, GG's. Huge congrats, yeah. I mean, he's taken out... So he's taken out FAA. That's his 4th-seeded player that he's beaten. But he's beaten FAA, Cerundolo, and Ruud. All in a row. And now he's going to play the winner of Kaboli-Zverev, who are both in form. So it's going to be interesting in that semi-finals. But yeah, what a winner. What a win from Blockx. By the way, let's also note something as well. When we talked about the draw, when it came out, this section of the draw with FAA, Bublik, Ruud, Cerundolo, this was the section that we were like, we didn't know who was going to come out of it, right? We thought, oh, well, Bublik's been okay at times. We've had, Ruud's been injured. Cerundolo's been up and down. Dodiri, FAA was sort of, up and down. And Blockx is the guy that came out of it. So, again, it proves true that section of the draw was random. Tsitsipas took advantage of, being unseeded, and he got through a little bit, But, yeah, Blockx is the man that gets out of that section of the draw, which was the wide open section when the draw come out. So, there it is. An unseeded guy getting to the semis, which is the only unseeded player in the semis. He was the second, well, him and Hodar were the 2 unseeded guys, but he gets through. Joshua!
I said yesterday after his match with Medvedev that this blockade could be a problem. Look like he's about to be a problem.
Hey, thank you for the 5. He didn't play Medvedev, but I'm sure you meant Cerundolo. But thank you for the 5. But yeah, solid win. I don't know what was going on with Ruud, though. He was off. Ruud was just not his sharp self, making some strange choices. He hit 19 winners, Ruud, 23 errors, 15 forehand errors. Blockx with the 19 winners and 17 errors. He had a lot of forehand errors as well. Both these guys, forehands were a little bit lacking, but yeah, Ruud's forehand is his weapon, and it wasn't working. Maybe, look, and I know people were saying, maybe he's tired from Tsitsipas match. Yeah, maybe. But also, Blockx was hitting a lot of, was forcing errors out of Ruud as well. Ruud hit 27 forced errors. So that means that Blockx was making him make the errors, right? So yeah, Blockx power was also a problem. 8.5 performance rating for Blockx, 7.7 for Ruud. Ruud's average is about a 7.9, so below his average. Blockx way above his average at a 7.2. Blockx on the serve was an 8.1. Ruud was an 8.0, so pretty similar. The forehand, Blockx with a 8.5 compared to a Ruud 8.1. And then the backhand, Blockx's backhand was an 8.3, so way better than usual. His backhand, it wasn't as it wasn't as attackable as it had been in previous weeks. Ruud's backhand was a 6.8, so he was trying to avoid that at all costs. But when he did avoid hitting backhands, the forehand also wasn't helping as much. But yeah, great win for Blockx. Great win. Let's see how he does against Caboli and Zverev because they're two different guys. You know, he'd probably rather play Zverev because Zverev has more of the game that he's been playing against, right? He's been playing against guys like Zverev, right? Ruud, FAA, you know, more of those, you know, typical clay court defensive types. And if he plays Caboli, though, I mean, that'll be a bit of fireworks. Both those guys will be shooting forehands and backhands all over the place. But yeah. Another one to add to the list. Hodar and Blockx. Add those guys to the list of who's coming up next. All right. And Ruud's at 25 in the world, which is crazy. He has really dropped down. When is the next men's singles match? In about 5 hours, right? Yes. Yep, in about 5 hours. Zverev, Caboli. Even the next match in general is in about an hour. Did the Rockies win? We smashed it. We absolutely wrecked the Cincinnati. 13-2. Wrecked them. Wait. We wrecked them. That's what I was saying. We beat them. That's what I was saying. All right. That's what I said. I said wrecked. Another very young, very talented youngster, Blockx. A multi-talented young guns in this era. Oh, there's a lot of them, yeah. You give great content. You're very informative, knowledgeable, and great personality. Hey, Paula, thank you for sticking around and saying nice words. Appreciate that. The next hour is the next match is in an hour. What's with these delays? Yep. Madrid's schedule sucks. And we've said it yesterday, and we'll keep saying it because Madrid's schedule is so bad. Spreading the matches out is so stupid. Josh.
You're right, my bad. The point still stands, though.
Yeah. Thank you for the 2. Yeah. He's had a phenomenal week. Schedule's abysmal, yeah. It's just these, like, breaks between, like, it's like, what are we doing? Like, come on. They're really testing our patience, chat. Blockx, Fonseca, Hodar, next big 3? Maybe. What are the best 10 players coming up? All right, I'll give you the 10 best players under 22. So in order from the highest ranked, so you've got 21 or under. You got Feast, Tien, Manchik, Fonseca, Hodar, Blockx, Mickelson, Prismic, Merida, Landalucci, and Van Ache. Honorable mention, Beseveretti, Gia, Sakamoto, Wong, and Budkov Kia, who are all outside the top 100 currently, but all very dangerous. Also, Jerry's Zhang as well. Zhang. Also, Blanche has been pretty decent on the Challenger circuit as well. I'm been seeing his name floating around a little bit. And Kwame as well, who we haven't seen in the main draw of this tournament, but yeah, Kwame as well, who played really well in or who got to play Monte Carlo, right? And I'm sure we're going to see him at Roland Garros. Kwame, he's going to get one of the wild cards for sure. The young French guy. So yeah. A lot of players, a lot of young players under 22 that are super dangerous. Can Baptiste beat Mirra? Yes. Yes, she can. I thought Blockx had been mentally strong like Hodar. Still think Fonseca and Fils have the bigger weapons. Yeah. Yeah, but they also have years on these guys, right? I mean, Fils is the oldest of that under 21 bunch, or 21 under bunch, but he's also got the most experience. I mean, Fils should be, like, we all talk about Fonseca and Menchik and Tian and Hodar now, but like, Fils is the best of them all. like, if we're talking about players that are 21 and under, Fils has got, he's got the highest ranking of the bunch, right? Menchik was number 12 a year ago, though. Like, well, not a year ago, but he was number 12. So he's dropped down lately because of the Miami, title loss. But Fils has got, I think, like 4 titles, 500 event titles, right? I mean, he just won Barcelona. He's got 4 titles. He hasn't made a quarterfinal of a slam yet, but he made a 4th round at Wimbledon 2 years ago now, when he was 19, right? And he got injured, I think, to lose that. He's won 4 titles. 3 of those are 500 events, including Barcelona this year. In those finals, he's beaten Zverev, Humbert, and Rublev. Like, Fils should be considered ahead of all those guys that we always mention. Fils, if we're talking about who's going to be the third guy, Fils should be the guy. Like, he should be the answer. It shouldn't be even Fonseca. As a Fonseca fan, it shouldn't be Fonseca yet. It shouldn't be Hodar. It shouldn't be Blockx. Shouldn't be Menchik. It should be Fils. Like, he's the guy. He's the neck. He's part of this. Runa. As well. But Fils. And if he wasn't injured for 6 months, well, he's made up for lost time. So, yeah, we should be all talking about Fils as the threat to Sinkeraz, as the next one, right? As the big 3, the third guy, whatever you want to talk about, right? Like, Fils is the most accomplished of the bunch. He just doesn't have that 1,000 title or the Grand Slam, run yet. But I'll tell you, would it be so shocking to see him make it to the semis of Roland Garros, right? In the absence of Alcaraz. Down the bottom half of the draw with Zverev, like, do you think Fils could make it to the semis of Roland Garros and take on Sinner? I mean, he's taking on Sinner tomorrow, so yeah. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, like, Fils, if Rune has been injured, so that's why we haven't got him on the radar at the moment. He's, he'll come back. But, yeah, Fils is the guy right now. I mean, he is the guy. True, Fils stronger than Hodar, Blockx, and Fons? Yeah. I want to see Fons versus Fils. Fonseca Fils has to happen. We have to have that match. Have we ever had that match? I don't think we have we? Oh, no, they played in next gen finals. They played in Rio, like a couple years ago, on my birthday, apparently. So they played a couple of times, but they haven't played recently, right? They haven't played, and Fonseca's won both. But again, one of those was next gen finals, one of those was 2 years ago. So we got to see them play now, because I feel like that is going to be a crucial clash and maybe prove that Fils is the guy, the guy of the next gen or the new generation. Only Rotterdam, he lost to Demon, to be fair. Oh, what, Fils? Yeah, Fils lost to Demon or in Rotterdam first round, right? But since then, he's made like quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, winning. I mean, he's on fire, Fils. Maybe Fils Fonseca could happen at Roland Garros. Nah, I want that to happen in Rome, not Roland Garros. Nah, I don't want it to happen at Roland Garros. I want to have it before then, Rome, or might happen in like Hamburg, right? I think they're both playing Hamburg. Maybe we could get a pre-French Open. Maybe Fils Fonseca, yeah. Fils, please beat Sinner. Imagine if he did. If he beats Sinner, all of the things I just said, you'll hear everybody say it. Trust me. Everything I just said will be said by every single person in the tennis universe if Fils beats Sinner. Right? All those achievements that I just said Fils did, all that gassing up that I just did on Fils, watch the tennis world do the same thing. Watch all those podcasts, all those Twitter accounts, all those people, watch them all do that where if Feast beats Sinner. If he doesn't beat Sinner, they won't say anything. But if he beats Sinner, they're going to go, oh, well, he has won this and he has done that and he is the best 21 and under. But they're all going to say that shit. We're saying it, what? For the record, it's April 30th at whatever time in your world. We said it before he beat him. We've been saying it for weeks. But everyone's going to get on that. If he beats Sinner, they're all going to go, wait, Feast is really good. Big three Feast? Like, it's going to be said. It's going to be said. We're just getting in early. I really hope Feast can push Sinner to 3. Oh, yeah. Feast pushed Alcaraz to 3 last year. But we all forgot because he was out for 6 months and But he pushed Alcaraz last year in Monte Carlo to 3, so why couldn't he push Sinner? I hope the best version of Feast shows up tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Yes, please. With Alcaraz out, we need somebody to push Sinner. We need somebody to give Sinner something to think about. I'm a Feast fan. Sinner looks immortal. Have you been watching Sinner? Sinner doesn't look immortal at all. What do you mean? What do you mean Sinner looks immortal? He's been winning a lot, yes. I mean, he looked mortal yesterday against Hodar at times. Against Norrie in the second set, he looked mortal. He even looked mortal in the first round against Bonzi. I mean, he looks immortal. No, he doesn't. He's just won he just hasn't lost yet. But there's been moments. Monte Carlo, he lost a set to Mahach. He looked mortal then. Come on. Sinner can bleed. I'm a Sinner fan and he's really not immortal. There you go. If he was winning everything like 2-2, you'd be like, oh shit, he can't even lose games. Like Swiatek, when she went on that streak, that was immortal, right? That was immortal. Swiatek on that streak when she was bageling and breadsticking people and no one could even get games, that was immortal. Sinner's not doing that. Sinner's not just trashing people. He's having to work for some of these sets. We haven't seen the best version of Sinner yet. Well, that's true too. Is he going to rock up tomorrow against Feast and go, oh, now I'm ready to play? Like that. That's the scary part, right? He might come back tomorrow against Feast and go, oh, okay, now I'm going to start playing real. So he could come out tomorrow with like some crazy level because he knows that like maybe he's watching the channel right now. He's like, oh, you think Feast is a threat? I'll show you. And he will show us, maybe. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does do that. Rafa on clay was immortal. Exactly. Sinner didn't look that great. Forehand errors in the hip. Oh, yeah, the hip was weird. The errors yesterday on the forehand was a big problem, yeah. Sinner himself even said he's been pushed. There you go. Superman wouldn't admit that. Who is going to beat Sinner and with Carlos and Nole out? I don't know. That's what we're here to find out. Sinner's trolling lurking in the chat. Same thing about Baptiste. They already saying she's the strongest American. Who's saying that? That's so. You know what? And this is not like any disrespect to Baptiste. It's more just like that's not fair. It's not. By the way, not fair on Coco at all, right? Or Pagula, right? And Anisimova. But like that's so much pressure to put on Baptiste that she's the strongest American. It's like why? Because she beat the world number one. Like yeah, okay, it was a great win, but She's not, though. Like, Coco, Pegula's been, like, probably the most, like, consistent American this year. Like, yeah, they can't be putting that on Baptiste. That's not fair on her. And it's not fair to everybody else on the WTA. Even Keys, right? I mean, yeah, you can't be saying Baptiste the strongest American. That's not fair on anybody. That's just a crazy statement. That's a recency bias, right? Huge recency bias that is. Come on. She's very talented, though, and she's very good, and she probably should win. She could win today as well. But come on. You all forgot about Coco already? Come on. Pegula, she's solid. Come on. Yeah, we got an hour into Andreeva and Baptiste. This schedule stinks. I think Feast will beat him. If Feast beats Sinner, I'm going to do a backflip off camera. Off camera. I do agree with you. Yeah, Wendy, yeah. I mean, look, they're getting excited. It's great. But also, like, coming out with that's a crazy statement. That's a crazy statement to say that. To say that she's the best American. It's like, what, best this week? Yeah. For sure she's the best this week. But you can't put that pressure on her. It's just not fair. All right. I'm going to send you over the next one, and we'll be back in like 45 minutes because that's the schedule. What a schedule. Anonymous!
As I said before, great content, knowledge and perspective, plus personality. Thank you. I enjoy listening to you.
Hey, thank you, Anonymous, for the 10. Appreciate that. No worries. The day I lose my personality is the day I probably just go back to bed. But jump over there. We'll be back in about 45 minutes to watch Andreeva Baptiste to see what's up. Joshua!
She is built like a brick house, though.
I mean, I guess, it's the shot. The thing is the shot variety that she brings. She's so much like Ons Jabeur. That's like the connection that I get from Baptiste. Is like she can really smack a serve, but she's got that finesse that Ons has, right? She's got that clay court kind of tennis as well. It's awesome. And it's great because it's like such a different variety to what we're seeing at the WTA at the moment with everyone just hitting the ball hard. Anyways, thank you for the donations and the super chats. We'll be back in 45 minutes to watch Baptiste take on Andreeva. But Blockx wins. He's into the semis. Takes out Ruud, defending champion. Ruud will go to Rome. Ruud had a good week. You know, that City Pass match was epic. You know, but Blockx in the semis. We'll see how far he can go.